Hi, welcome to the Heart of Illumination. I'm Joseph. Thanks for being here for another message. And what's been coming through to me for today, and I'll do my best to cover the topics. Sometimes I might miss it, and it's okay. We'll probably cover another time. And sometimes if I miss it, but that's just the beginning energy or the beginning theme of the message. But if I miss it, it's okay. It's not meant to be. It might be some inner exploration for you to just take it as a mental note and have an open question for yourself and look for the message elsewhere with that kind of point of focus, with a light, loving, and nourishing point of focus on that topic, and then go out and explore what the world, what messages the world is sending to you and related to that topic, even if I don't cover it on this message. So what's been coming through is there's a sense of nourishment. So nourishment. Someone here might have had an accident in the past or recently that might have involved an alternate state or an unusual experience. The theme of minimalism and how it applies to who you want to be. So we'll cover those three. There's a couple things coming up, but we'll allow them to come up as they need. So as part of the energy of nourishment, I invite you to take deeper breaths as you listen to my message and watch this video. I invite you to do what physically nourish you in this moment. It could be to stretch, it could be to move shoulders. I know for myself, as well as men that I know, male friends that I know, right, we have a lot of tension in our shoulders. So every day I would come out, I would start my morning routine with stretches. You for sure stretches, and then at times, most days, I would do exercises afterwards. But yeah, let's let go of the tension on our shoulders, especially for male viewers. And so the whole theme of nourishment is just in this moment, while you're listening to my voice, while you're hearing, while you're watching the video, and while you're in that whole space of your presence and being, wherever you are, no matter the external environment, do something that nourishes you. If you're watching this in a coffee shop, take a sip of the coffee, right? You don't have to get up and stretch your body if you don't feel comfortable, and you don't have to get up and scream like Tarzan if that's not what you feel comfortable, right? So I'm in a park. Yes, there are some residential nearby, but I can literally scream out loud and it'll be okay. Obviously, I want to make sure I do it in a way that it's like I send a message to other people that it's just a practice that I'm doing. It's fun. It's not someone getting hurt. So, even here, right, in Hong Kong, in one of the parks in Saigon, I still, even if that nourishes me, yes, I want to do it in a way that no one calls the cops on me for the purpose of helping me or bringing me into disturbing the peace. So anyways, so do what nourishes you, right? So take that sip of coffee, and may I add, when you're doing this nourishment, if it's relating to the sip of coffee or food, right, or even smell or whatever, so when I eat, sometimes I close my eyes and I allow a couple seconds, and maybe sometimes more than a second, to tune into greater peace, so that I can enjoy, so I can focus all my awareness, all my conscious focus, all my energy, as much as I can, on the sensation of taste in my mouth. And yes, that makes everything feel better. And it feels even better when I've been on a multi-day fast and I've been drinking nothing but water or juice. And then when I come off the fast and like the first couple of things I eat, oh, it's bliss. And when I apply that method of just closing my eyes and tuning the awareness, tuning my focus and energy on that sensation of taste, is blissful. And we can also experience that through breath, right? It's something so subtle, so mundane, something we take so much granted for, that when we can, that's why when people meditate, and when I meditate, there is a sweetness, there's a warmth, there is something about the breath that's as nourishing as eating really good food and drinking really good liquid or water or juice. Yeah, it's the same thing. And then when you can breathe to that extent, where every breath, right, there's different flavors sometimes, that's in a way a superpower. But most of the time, I just like enjoying, right? I apply that to my breaths when I meditate, and I just enjoy how sometimes I consciously control it, or have more control over my breath, and that's kind of fun. It's like, oh, I can breathe this way. There's so many ways I can breathe. And then when I let go of that control and go more into awareness, but just noticing my breath and how that even varies sometimes, and how each breath is different, and how each breath, you can enjoy each breath for its own sake. And when I'm talking about the breath, it's not just here, it's how it fills up my body and my lungs, the areas before going to the lungs and my belly, right? How my physical sensation feels with this whole area breathing. And that's a little bit more expansive of just focusing on the breath, but overall awareness of physical, so that goes to a sentient kind of thing. So yeah, at some point, our senses, right, and we don't have to go talk about clairs, but we can have conscious awareness of our senses, and then we can have subtle awareness of our senses, and there's an enjoyment that's part of that, and there's, in a way, you can call it bliss. You can call it a bliss and peacefulness with that. And then there's a total subconscious or unconscious, right? So there's conscious breathing, there's subtle consciousness breathing, where I know I'm breathing, but I'm just noticing it. And then there's an enjoyment from the noticing. And then there's also a wonder, a curiosity of, oh, and kind of a researcher, right? Not analyzing stuff, but kind of noticing and trusting that the data is kind of, in a way, the data is being captured. But so having the metadata and then enjoying each breath and not comparing, but just noticing, oh, wow, this breath is different from all the collective breaths that I've taken before. Anyway, so can you be enthusiastic about just breathing and the joy of breathing and the variations of breaths that you can take? So maybe you can, because I just did. I did not plan on coming on camera and saying how much I enjoy breathing sometimes. It went from nourishing to food, which is not as subtle. Sometimes it's very subtle, but not as subtle. And then the breath is very subtle. Food, meals, right? At least that's very explicit. And then, of course, we've all had good food, right? So you can taste the difference from something that's not good, that's kind of normal, and then that's something really good. And for me, that's chocolate, right? So there's regular chocolate, actually for me, I like the Hershey chocolate bar, just the regular Hershey chocolate. It's a little, it's normal, but I believe on certain days it goes to, and in certain moments it could be an extraordinary chocolate for me in that moment. And then there are some chocolate that, yeah, I just don't want to touch. There are certain milk chocolate that dilutes the whole cacao experience, and I don't know. I will eat it again, but they're not in the ones that are memorable or that I need to go out and buy right away. And then, for me, I love dark chocolate, and specifically, they're all etched in my mind and in my soul. So, so dark chocolate is my favorite. I love something anywhere from 40 to 80 something, even 90 at times. I'm okay, but yeah, I bought a bar of 90 percent dark chocolate before, and I barely touched it. So anything below 90 is really good, because if you're able to eat the 90, and so this is actually part of the taste, and developing an exquisite, mindful, but yet non-judgmental taste, just for in personal enjoyment, not comparison or anything like that. Yet, if you want to know what something tastes like, right? You taste the cacao beans, so it brings me back to Bali. So anyway, I know I'm really hounding on this nourishing part, but hopefully this enthusiastic, passionate joy about breathing, eating chocolate, and sunlight, right? Enjoying sunlight, you can subtly enjoy the sunlight as well, and the warmth. Hopefully this is transmitting beyond just my words and expressions and stuff, right? So that's part of their nourishment. So a human being nourishing another human being with enthusiasm, love, and joy for life. And so let me finish. So in terms of dark chocolate, so yes, I've enjoyed many different types of chocolate, and I like a lot of the mainstream ones. They're fine. I don't eat as much chocolate anymore. But if you want to cultivate and know what chocolate really tastes like, cacao, right? Then you go and you go to one of the chocolate factories, do a little tour, and they'll let you sample their cacao beans. Yeah, they're cacao are grown. And in Bali, I sampled a couple places. Magnificent places for chocolate makers there. And so you sample those cacao beans, and yes, you might not buy a whole bar of 100% chocolate, dark chocolate, but also sample that as well, right? And even if it's really bitter, if you use that as an opportunity to be curious, to learn, to expand your palate, to feel and sense, right? What certain extents of opportunities are in this context, it's chocolate. Beyond the bitterness, you'll sense, you'll taste the rich aroma of that chocolate. You'll taste earthiness, right? So you're not going to go out and eat dirt. No one needs to do that. But yet, this is in a way dirt, water, nutrients all coming in together in alignment with the genes of the cacao to bring something that's edible, but directly from the earth, right? And it has its own taste and so forth, but there's a richness, there's a hint of richness, there's a hint of sweetness inside that bitterness. And then there's also that thickness that dark chocolate has. And if you eat some of the 90% to 100, you can think of it as like a umami, right? So when people cook, there's that umami. So you keep that in your mouth and it melts, right? There's that rich, it begins to not taste so bitter, like the first couple milliseconds or the first couple seconds, but there's this rich, liquid, molten lava, not hot lava of chocolate, but richness that's like swirling in your mouth, and that experience is so exquisite. And then just bear with it, and then obviously spit it out or swallow whatever works for you. But now at least you've experienced it, right? And what's the, what's the cost, right? Yeah, you bear it. You bear with the bitterness for, under a minute. But yet, if you're able to cultivate some of these deeper awareness internally through your senses, appreciate the subtleness, appreciate the nuances, appreciate kind of the entire experience as well. Oh, that is a very rich experience for your mouth and for your palate, and you'll become a better food connoisseur in a way. And yes, and all of this does connect deeply to a high quality of life, not in just materials, but in what we experience. It can connect deeply to spirituality, because the depth of spirituality, it's not the concept of spirituality, is to come into this world to enjoy, right, on the topic of nourishment, to nourish ourselves fully to what aligns with us, to what makes us joyful. And I feel like just by describing it to you, I'm having that experience. Like, I'm salivating. I'm like, oh my God, I need to have some of that cacao and dark chocolate. Yes, I will. It's exactly what I described to you. There'll be those moments of bitterness, but I'll be like, oh yeah, thank you, my body, thank you, God, thank you for this gift of being able to taste so many things, especially bitterness in this moment. But yet, then they transform into, oh my God, there's so much other taste that I don't have words for. Or maybe if I become like a food critic, then I learn like 500 words how to describe, the taste after the bitterness, right? So anyway, so it's so wonderful, right? So we come into this life as a human being, embodied spirit, and in a way, spirituality becomes just a guidebook for a way of life. And the way of life is to enjoy being a human being, from the very subtle, very it could be a pin needle type of subtle, to the extravagance of whatever. Yet it has to align with you, right? You can't, from my experience, right, I would love to drive a Lamborghini, maybe for a couple of days. Cool, right? Nice car, touch the body and like feel the metal and the craftsmanship and feel it. But I don't need to own the car, right, for the rest of my life, right? It'll be nice to drive a couple times and whatever, right? And I don't necessarily need to put it on social media, but if that moment calls for it and I feel aligned to do it, yeah, it'll be kind of fun, right? Maybe just to show cool people in my life, people that truly care for me through the rough times as well as the good times, that get to have a fun moment like this. But the point is, do all of it and feel, sense, and kind of what I described with the story of the journey, with the chocolate. Fully experience that thing, however you want to do it. Yet it has to be aligned with you and what you truly, who you truly are becoming. And yeah, I could say desire, yet your heart's desire, your soul's desire, and the desire that's in a way alignment, inclusive, basically a very important facet of the core of your being. So yeah, so enjoy life. That was just nourishment. That was just nourishment. So take what resonate, leave the rest. Second one was minimalism. So I'll keep this a little brief because it actually ties in with nourishment. So minimalism is just an idea. It's the idea of living simply with things based on necessity, based on essential, right? What you need is to live your life, the quality of life you want, or the quality of life that suits you. And so if you feel a house full of a lot of things and they are all essential and you use them every day, or at least throughout the month you use them sparingly, yes, right? There are some people that experiment with this idea where and a lot of guys, it's been an interesting social media trend a little while back, I think. But I like seeing those posts where it's just a picture of a man's bedroom. It's a bed, it's their laptop, it's maybe a TV, a small TV, maybe a video game console with it, and like a little table to hold their laptop, drink, clothes, and stuff like that, and that's about it. And then the caption is always something like, this is what a man needs, or something like that. And actually, something that really touched my heart as well is that sometimes, so yes, at a certain point in a person's life, specifically for male, right? We grow up and we move out of the house, and then maybe our first place is an apartment, and we're not kind of rolling in money, but it's our first job or first salary or whatever, and so we're making enough money just to buy the necessities, and then on a good month, maybe we saved up some money and we treat ourselves to something, maybe a nice video game or like a nice cake, whatever, right? And so I could resonate that a lot of men tend to, as we grow, just go through the stages of life, right? Moving into independence outside the home, we go through that phase of, it's not so much about the material. In a way, the nourishment and the joy of that moment and that space is that I become independent, right? What does that mean? I don't know. I'm walking that path to figure it out. But at least my space is something I paid for. I use my own capacity, abilities to pay for it, to work, earn money to pay for it. And then, yes, it's not so much about furnishing. It's that I have a roof over my head, I have food, water, nourishments, bed, maybe a dog, right? A best friend, and and it's a space where I can come and recuperate, be at peace, play games just to get my mind out of the day, the work day and stuff like that, right? And big enough to invite a couple friends along who won't really judge that I only have a bed and a TV, right? So even that right? So it could be kind of funny, even if you're in that stage right now. It's great, right? I'm just uh, being explicit with my words that you're not lacking anything. And then if anybody makes fun of you for your apartment, then are they living at home? Are they supporting themselves? Have they did they take the courage to step into this journey of self-sufficiency and independence, right? Supporting themselves and whatever, right? So you don't need to throw it in their face, but keep it to yourself, and just be proud that you've moved on. You've moved on to this stage in your life, either intentionally or non-intentionally, and it's okay. And maybe a small set of you, your parents kicked you out of your house, and you have to find your own apartment or live with a friend, and get a job and earn your own money, and that's okay as well, right? So if you landed on this video, you can kind of tell that your parents helped you in the best loving way that they could, and now you're better on your own, and you're on a path to become a mature man, right? And then eventually we'll use the symbol of eventually become a king, right? Meaning you have your own domain, and you grow and you sustain it from the core of your being that's in alignment, and you care for, right? You care for things that are in your domain, and you could even care for things that are outside your domain, right? International relations, right? Anyway, so if the idea of becoming a minimalist resonates with you, just go on that journey. Treat it as a process, and develop plans and goals that are in alignment of how you're going to become this minimalist, right? You don't have to get rid of everything tomorrow or next month, but as you go through this process, sometimes in a way, the slower or more natural pace to you, the better. Because as you go through this, it'll reveal more about you. It'll reveal lessons and insights that only applies to you by going through this phase of decluttering, minimalizing, and not. And part of the minimalist approach is to not buy anything else that you don't need anymore, or that's not essential to your quality of life anymore, right? So part of it is just starting to say, oh, when I go out and shop and spend time outdoors and spend time, can I just look and appreciate the thing, right? And not have to buy it, bring it home, and not use it after a week, right? It could be something as simple as that. And if you need to buy something, if something calls to you, wait a week, right? This isn't rocket science kind of thing. Anyway, so do it however works for you. And extra shout out to those young adults that have moved out, either as a man or female, that you've moved out and start your own life, living by yourself or with a roommate, and taking care of your own needs and learning what your own needs are and what your true essential wants are, and then building a life on top of that. So and as you go on that process and you do it well, it will nourish you. It will nourish you deeply. But yet, when we start new processes and we start new initiatives or whatever, sometimes it's uncomfortable in the beginning, and sometimes there's a lot of confusion, and it's kind of unsettling in the beginning. But just like the bitterness of eating dark chocolate, it'll go away, and then you'll be on this journey of nourishing yourself by minimalizing what you own or what you bring into your life and environment. And in doing so, it'll play a huge role in helping you more easily and more effortlessly and naturally nourish yourself and be more aligned with yourself and what you truly came to this life to experience. And then lastly, I know I covered another topic. We'll leave that. I'll make another video right after this so that it will be for the people that resonate with that topic. So I hope this helps. I hope you felt some of the joy and fun as I was sharing a little facet of how I enjoy life. Until next time.